Christians can only then view the world through Christ. That's it. We don't have another option. Some of you are looking for one. Some of you wish there was one. Some of you think you formed one. You think you figured it out. How to be of the world and of heaven at the same time. Well, that's called just being dead in sin. You haven't figured it out. In our contemporary era, Christians have been seemingly discipled to be concerned with being too Christian. And you don't want to be too Christian, do you? And that's where the phrase, don't be so heavenly minded that you're no earthly good, comes from. Well, friends, that's not the Christian worldview. That's poor discipleship. It is faulty thinking. It is fearful thinking. The opposite is true. Only the heavenly minded can be any earthly good because God commanded us to be heavenly minded. Set your mind on things that are above. What do you think that means? This past Sunday, this is what some of you were waiting for. During the Super Bowl, there was a commercial. And I've seen a bunch of these commercials. They're all terrible. I know some of you like them, but they're all bad. They're all faulty. It's the ad campaign, He Gets Us. Hobby Lobby paid for it. Nate Schloman said Hobby Lobby is the Bud Light of home decor. Some of you, somebody's going to explain it to you on the way home. But controversy erupted because they made an attempt at evangelism. The problem was that it presented a faulty view of the love of Christ that did not in any way communicate the gospel according to God's standard. Rather, the attempt was made to make Christians palatable to non-Christians. Rather than setting the mind on that which is above, it sought to set the mind on that which is of earth. It failed the cause of Christ because it sought to reconcile things that are necessarily offensive to God as that which we can find middle ground and compromise on. Seeking that which is above will put you at enmity with the world. And friends, in opposition to what their entire mission statement was, Jesus teaches righteous hatred towards sin. Jesus teaches you to hate sin. And so to make a blanket statement, Jesus didn't teach hate, is flawed at best. It is a lie from hell at worst. But He taught you a righteous form of hatred. Why would you hate anything? Well, you would hate anything that brings about the wrath of God for all eternity, and that is what sin does. There are consequences to unbelief, and that consequence is eternal condemnation under the wrath of God. Wrath. There's a lot of hatred in that wrath. Hatred towards sin. The heavenly mindset is one that would teach repentance, not pithy sayings that don't apply to reality, that defame the name of Christ. Christians have a God-entranced vision of all things. The apostle writes in Colossians there, you have died. That happening is what brings about repentance in your life. You die to your life of sin. You die to the world of sin. And then the text says, your life is hidden with Christ in God. What does that mean? He's talking about union with Christ. And that union requires the death of sin, and that's what the cross gives. It happened on the cross. That union will draw a stark contrast to your vision of the world and your vision of life. Christianity is in a sinful world.